Hello and welcome to Noggin Comics. 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, we went to Planet Comicon. Instead of doing our annual C2E2 trip, we decided to do something different this year. And to keep on the different trend, we're going to be splitting up signature and art opposed to comic calls as well for this video. So it's going to be a two-parter: comics and signatures, art and signatures, and comic call. So I'm Kyle, and then Nora's gonna be joining us later on to talk about her signatures, what she got and why she got those signatures. And there might be some overlap, as you know, we spent the whole time together. However, I do think that she got stuff because of more of a connection to the creators than myself. So I want to start off with sharing some video of the craziness to get into the show on Saturday. We were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and somewhere on Thursday because we were helping out our friends, Jaime Coker Creations, and you're gonna see some artwork that we got from them for helping out that weekend. Now, my overall opinion on Planet Comicon opposed C2E2. We've been doing C2E2 now for 4 years, I think, something like that, and it's become a home away from Minnesota. I mean, we do mostly every show in Minnesota we do. However, when C2E2 happens, that's a show we have to go to. So how do I feel about Planet Comicon? I liked it. But to me, it's not C2E2. And with them having it the same weekend as C2E2, WonderCon, I think it was, and a few other shows. Lexington had a show, I believe, and there was some other shows. There was even a show in Des Moines that we spent a night at. So yeah, there was a lot going on that weekend, and I feel like if we had to compare all those shows together, C2E2 is still the prominent show of that group. That being said, though, I had a great time at Planet Comicon, and the following artwork is going to show you how fun this trip actually was. One of the funniest things, unique things about Planet Comicon was the amount of THC and CBD vendors. These are vendors or businesses that were based in Missouri, and they were giving out samples. So hey, when they're wrong, right? And that's where I'm gonna be tying this into the artwork that we got. Like I said, we went to the show to help out Jaime Coker, and he's like, hey, you know what? Thanks for the help. Take what you guys want. Take some prints if you want. We ended up giving our friend something from Jaime. So Jamie's been doing playmats recently, and they're really good playmats. And he created one that was Mothman. And our friend, who is also on Noggin now, Reba, she loves Mothman, Mothra, those type of characters she loves. So we had to get that from Jaime. So we got that, and now I'm going to showcase the artwork that we got from him. This is 2 of these. We got 3 prints, and 2 of them are more of a comedy, humorous thing. And this is his Up in Smoke South Park collaboration with Randy and Tally as Cheech and Chong. I grew up watching Cheech and Chong. In fact, C2 Comics has a comic book, a graphic novel, revolving around Cheech and Chong. I think I read last year for 420. Hilarious book. But I had to get that print. Now, I don't know if that's going to go up on the wall as much as I just had to have that. The next one, Nora picked out. I didn't want to spoil myself, so I'm like, hey, Nora, you get some stuff you want too. And Nora has been a huge fan of Hazbin Hotel. And we've been around a lot of shows where these actors, voice actors, have been at, and Jamie's been there too. But we've never picked up his Hazbin Hotel artwork until right now. And see, I have some regrets about this. So we didn't pick this up until end of the show. Mind you, though, Keith David is there. Keith David was at Planet Comicon, and we could have had Keith David sign this. And that's kind of kicking myself in the butt for that. However, we're going to be at Des Moines Con, most likely next month, and I know a few of the voice actors will be there. So we might bring that with us to have them sign that too, to have Jaime's signature and some of the voice actors on there. And then we are huge X-Men fans. I mean, you see that Deadpool above me. Right next to me is a lot of X-Men toys. And we've been friends with Jaime for almost a decade. And we've never picked up his X-Men print. Nightcrawler, Gambit, Colossus. I have a Nightcrawler tattoo. So the fact that I didn't have this, I had to grab it. And I'm hoping that he does more X-Men stuff in the future. If you visit his page, he's got a really cool Villainous Villains line he does, where he takes a villain and he's breaking apart the hero, a toy version of the hero, and he's got Magneto breaking Charles Xavier, which I regret not getting. So next time I see him, I'll probably end up picking up that as well. But this next artist, very well-known artist, and I would have never picked these up if it wasn't for a friend asking me to get his Uncle Scrooge comic signed. Before going to Planet Comicon, I did watch some videos of the show, what to expect, and this guy, this is one of the few shows he does in the U.S., and there was a interview he had with another content creator, and I became a fan of him because of this. And that's Don Rosa. I'm not a huge Scrooge fan. I like Disney. I like Marvel. I like DC. So when I seen that Don Rosa had these collaborations, I had to get them. This first one is hilarious. The Batman and Robin, Donald and Scrooge. Absolutely love this print. In fact, I told myself when I was getting the book signed from our friend John that I was going to get that. What I didn't know, though, was that Don had a very good sale on his prints. It was 3 for $60, I believe. So, I mean, Don's getting up there in age. And I'm like, Nora, we need to actually maybe get something ourselves here. So, of course, to go with Jaime's X-Men, X-Duck. Now, if you're realizing something, you're realizing that Don keeps switching up our names down here. Well, Don decided to give me a lot of crap because when he asked, what's your name? I go, Kyle and Nora. And he goes, don't you mean Nora and Kyle? And sure enough, on the very next one, he writes in for Nora and Kyle. Now, Don supposedly has this reputation of being a curmudgeon. I had a great time. Granted, I did see some of that curmudgeon side come out of him from the person in front of me. So, if you ever get the chance to meet Don Rosa, know your shit, because he will straight up tell you, I didn't do that. And which is, hey, you know what? I respect that. There was someone trying to get these comics signed by him that he was way too young to be working on these comic books. It was a funny interaction, to be honest with you, because she was young too, asking for the signatures. But like, watching the interaction, seeing his face, like, how old do you think I am? But that was the amount of that curmudgeon-y, reputation that he has. I thought he was phenomenal to deal with or talk to. Um, Now, this next one was a con exclusive. Before I get to the one original piece I got, well, technically 5, but one's bigger than the other 4. But I have always been a fan of Freddie Williams. Freddie was my introduction to James Tynion because of the Batman TMNT crossover. And he did the Planet Comicon logo. So that was the exclusive, but he had 2 prints. He had a print of that and a print of his TMNT for only $10. So as you can see, I already framed this. Because this is going to go right up next to all the TMNT prints that Jamie has done. I'll show it one more time just because it looks so good. I know it's glare on it, but like, in my opinion, Freddie Williams the best working TMNT artist right now. And now for the original artwork. Much like Freddie Williams artwork down there, I would have not bought in that if it wasn't for our friend and Mr. Comic Exchange admin as well, Jordan. Jordan had this commission done, a sketch cover. He's a huge G.I. Joe fan. And it looked amazing, gorgeous. And then he showed me he got cards. So I was like, well, damn, dude, you gotta show me. I need to check these out. So this guy, his name is Adam Kleinert. Kleinert, Kleinert. I'll drop a link to his social media in the description. But he had sketch cards he was doing. So I had one of Emma Frost, one of Beast. I can never pass up Magic. We have a Magic art wall currently being built in the living room right now. Starting to get a frame for Avery Walker's Magic, but I'll be posting that soon on our Instagram page. Avery Walker, his Magic print is amazing. And then the final sketch card from Adam was this, right? And now I'll be okay with this. I love Savage Rogue. But then, talking to him, and he had original artwork sitting down there, and he had it for fairly cheap. And I'm sitting there, and I see something that catches my eye. And it's not the print I have in my hand right now, not the original piece I have in my hand right now. It was a Ghost Rider. I'm like, sweet, looking through it, kind of going through the box, and then I see this. And, you know, the funniest thing is, when I bought this, I saw for sure that Nora was going to kill me. Like, you're buying Savage Rogue. Why are you buying Savage Rogue? Well, let's look at the eyes. And she goes, uh-huh. Well, honestly, this is one of the best Savage Rogues I have ever laid my eyes on. And the fact that he was selling it for fairly cheap. For this and those cards, I paid $150. And the one thing I've realized about going to these big shows, going to C2E2, going to Planet Comicon, here in Minnesota, going to Twin City Con, if you have original artwork, it's my kryptonite now. And I say that despite having a comic haul video coming soon. Maybe I have way too many kryptonites at comic shows or Comic Cons and conventions, but I couldn't say no to that. So that was the artwork that I picked up. And now, this is the signatures that we're going to be talking about. And like I said, there's going to be some overlap between Nora and I. There's one creator here that I'll talk about first because this is where the crossover is going to happen. Now, Ignition Press had a booth at the show. It was the first time they had a table or booth at any comic convention. They're a new publisher, absolutely killing it. Now, one of the creators on Ignition Press is called him Bun. Bun's done so much, and a lot of people know him from his Deadpool stuff. However, I think his strengths is independent stuff. And he had this omnibus that is paranormal noir, and it's from him and Brian Hurst, and they've worked together on Six Gun. But it's The Damned. And then, he's like, "You want me to sign it?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, of course I want you to sign it. You're Colin Bunn." So, of course, he signed it. But I'm actually going to be doing a review on this soon, once I read it, on our blog. So, if you've been following us, we have a website that we do a lot of comic reviews, movie reviews, TV reviews, talking about Daredevil right now. And we have our intern on there who is our intern Aurora, who is constantly dropping great articles. And then also, Nora's gonna have a lot more from Colin that she has signed. However, I'm a sucker for horror, right? And this is that pulp-looking feeling vibe. That's why I had to pick this up. And the thing is that this is also Matt Kent. And he told me that if I'm ever at a show where Matt Kent is at, he's going to cut out this page that he signed. And he's going to do something different. And he said, "Don't worry." He goes, "It doesn't impact the story at all. He'll make it worth your while." And that's the thing about a lot of the interactions that we had with creators at Planet Comicon. They brought you in like you were friends. They've known you for a while. And I absolutely love that. Now, this next guy, he only has a couple books out, and like talking about The Damned, I actually read this book, so there's going to be a review on this soon. But this Grim Reaper, Satchel Cleveland, I think his name was, the writer of it. Now, I know this is bad that I didn't know his name, but he was so fun to talk to. I mean, he signed it right there. He signed both of these. Now, you may be asking, why do you have two of these? Well, one's in black and white, and the other's in color. And, like I said, I'll be talking about this on a different video or a blog post. But, I mentioned people bringing you in, like, you've known you, that you're friends. He was very much like that, where we sat there and we talked probably for 20, 30 minutes on unforgiving floors. One thing that C2E2 and Planet Comicon and Transilicon all have in common: your feet are going to hurt by the end of the show. But yeah, this Grim Reaper, if you can put two together, it's another marijuana-infused storytelling story. That was very interesting. I'll just leave it at that. And then going back to being influenced by Jordan. Jordan and I spent most of Sunday together. It was kind of nice having a friend that's in Minnesota at the show too. And he has a way of influencing you to do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. And see, I would have never gotten this sign. Now, I do have a copy of this. I have it from Free Comic Book Day. But Kerry Collin was there. And Jordan just perhaps had two covers of this. And he gave me one to have it signed, so I had Kerry sign it to Noggin. And it's perfect timing, too. If you go to your local comic shop right now, you have Mad About DC. I just got done reading that, and that was some funny stuff right there. But yeah, this was one of those books I did not expect to have in my hands and get signed at Planet Comicon. And for the final book about the signatures that I got at Planet Comicon. Now, this is another Jordan story. As you can tell, I got really influenced by Jordan. But I had this book on me. I recently bought it at our last Minnesota Comic Exchange comic show in Maplewood, Woodbury. And this is the first appearance of Rogue, Avengers Annual 10. Ugly, ugly cover. Now, we had Chris Claremont was there, and Alan Milgrom. Now, we've had the opportunity to meet Claremont multiple times. We've talked to Claremont. And the one thing we realized is that at this show, at Planet Comicon, you could not meet Chris Claremont, but you could meet Al Milgrom. So, of course, Jordan took me over to Al Milgrom's table because he had the same book signed, and he's like, "Kyle, just get it signed." So he ended up paying for the signature to have Milgram sign my Avengers Annual 10. So yeah, as you can tell, this was a very rogue, influenced show for me. But yeah, outside of my signatures, now Nora is going to share with you her tiny little haul compared to my 20 minutes of rambling.
Hey, it's Nora from Noggin Comics. I'm going to talk through the items that I got signed at Kansas City, Planet Comicon in Kansas City. So let's get into it. So I got a bunch of different variety of things. So the first thing I'll talk about is a prose novel by Colin Bunn. It is called Bones of Our Stars, Blood of Our World. This came out in 2025. It's a crime horror novel with some twists, so that sold me. And if you bought his novel, he also gave you a short stories graphic novel. So, A Passage in Black. I think it also features a story from his wife. But I asked if there was any connection with this short story to the novel, and he said no. But I think this is just something that he is pairing with an extra perk of buying his book. So, that was pretty cool. And then, also from Colin Bunn, we stopped at the Ignition Press table and got a lot of their books and caught up on a lot of stories. And they're putting out so many good books, just can't keep up. But in like just so many different genres. So this one is by Colin Bunn. It's called Ripcord. We got issues 1 and 2 signed. We did not pick these up when they came out. And then issue 2. Yeah, so this is exciting. I think it's gonna be Colin Bunn writes a lot of stuff that I have not read, but it's more of a suspense story, which he writes really well. So I really was tempted to pick up all 3, I believe, compendiums of Six Gun, which I have not read. I was very tempted, but I did not get them. So next at the Ignition Press booth, I caught up on all of 4 issues of Voyeur, which is really good. We got Joelle Jones's variant of it for issue 2. So that she was there. She's really sweet. If you haven't read any of her stuff, I highly recommend Lady Killer from Dark Horse Comics. She writes and draws that book. So she has not yet done anything for Ignition Press. She did tease something coming up. She just couldn't say anything more, but she also did the cover of the cold open for Innards. So she signed this one as well. This is by Rob Gilroy and Sam Lotfi, which I haven't read this yet, but it is another upcoming #1 that I'm interested in. So this was an exclusive cover as well for Planet Comicon. Alright, next. I wanted to meet, or I did meet G. Willow Wilson. She had some comics at her table that she was just giving away signed, because she's amazing like that. But the day that I was going to go there, she ran out of comics. The next day I went to Comic Book College, who had a booth there, and I picked up some covers for her to sign. So, from her current Poison Ivy run, I picked up this variant of number 33, which she signed, and then this Jenny Frison variant of 28, which she signed, and then I picked up a few Ms. Marvel covers. This is number 5. I also picked up, I think, issue 3 of it and had her sign it, and we gave it to Aurora, who is our intern for Noggin, because she loves Ms. Marvel and just emulates Ms. Marvel. So, next, Kyle and I met Doug Wagner, who we have read all of his works, from vinyl, plush, plastic, and the recent one that's coming out, Narco. So we got our number 1 of Narco signed. He made a comment. He's like, I don't know why everyone's just like buying this comic like crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I keep saying, like, now everyone's getting into your Doug Wagner and Dan Hilliard stories. Like, you guys have been writing so many great stories, and they should have been buying them from the beginning. Anyway, we had a good laugh there. But so we got a Narco number 1 signed. He has a pretty cool signature over here. And then we picked up the plastic Death and Dolls, which is the second installment of the story, which we haven't read yet. And he also signed the cover, which I thought was kind of cool. And then, last but not least, we met Scotty Young.
Of course. It's still so really good at this. Yeah. I love it.
I got the rest of I Hate Fairyland in hardcovers. So I have the first 2 hardcovers, and I got hardcovers 3 and 4, signed by him. He just did a little signature in here. So I gotta catch up on I Hate Fairyland, so I have these 2 to read, and then I was like, I'm gonna get some socks, because he had socks. And he had these, and as well as white socks with Gertie on them from I Hate Fairyland. And I'm like, I don't want white socks. I love black socks. And then he was like, here, let me sign your socks. So he signed the socks. Which, I mean, I am going to wear these, but still, I thought it was kind of funny that he signed the label. So yeah, that is all that I got signed. Didn't get that many other, like, back issues or anything in that video. Will come separately, because there's quite a bit of those, because we found some sweet deals. But yeah, overall, it was super fun. It was our first time at Planet Comicon, which I'm sure Kyle probably said, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed our hauls, what we got signed, and you know what to do, like, subscribe, tell everyone, and we'll see you at the comic shop.